Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Sabbath, girls.
Happy Sabbath, man.
Welcome to our lesson study. Before we begin, I will ask Moita to pray for us. Moita, please pray for us.
Let us pray. My wonderful God in heaven, can you let this corona go away? My dear Lord, can you let this corona go away? In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Moita. Before we begin our story, I want to ask you girls, how was your week? Were you happy? Were you sad?
I am happy and sad.
You were happy and sad. Okay. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about a lady called Hannah who was sad. But a man of God told her that God would answer her prayers. So I made some faces to show how we look when we are sad. You see my sad face? This is Matipa looking sad. And this is Matipa looking happy. This is Moita looking happy and sad. Because sometimes in life we are happy and sometimes we are sad. And in this story, the woman is sad. Now let's listen and hear why this woman is sad. So that I know that you are listening, when I say happy, I want you to show the boys and girls happy. And when I say sad, I want you to show the boys and girls sad. Okay. But before I tell you my story, I want you to remember that we serve God when we help others. So when others are sad, and if you make someone happy by doing something kind, by helping, you are serving God. And God loves it when we help others. We serve God when we help others. Let's say it together.
We serve God when we help others.
Okay, now let's listen carefully. You need to start getting ready for our trip to the tabernacle at Shiloh, Elkanah said to his wife Hannah one morning. It's almost time for the feast. Each year, Hannah and Elkanah traveled with many other families to Shiloh to worship at the tabernacle there. Hannah loved worshiping the Lord at the tabernacle because it made her happy. Show the boys and the girls. But how she wished she had a child, like every family they met along the way. So every time they went to Shiloh, Hannah felt sad. Hannah may have thought back to the early days of their marriage and how she looked forward to having children. But many years had gone by and Hannah had not had any babies, or how much she and Elkanah would love to have a baby. Elkanah and Hannah traveled down the road to Shiloh to worship the Lord at the tabernacle. When it was time for the special feast, Elkanah divided the food. He gave Hannah an extra serving to try and make her happy. And to try and make up for her that she didn't have a child. Hannah closed her eyes tightly, but little tears leaked out and ran down her face. She was so sad, she couldn't even eat. Hannah, said Elkanah, don't be sad because you have no children. Elkanah wanted to make Hannah happy. Isn't having me better than having 10 sons? He teased. After the long feast meal was over, Hannah slipped away to the tabernacle to talk to God. Oh God, she prayed, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you. He will serve you all his life. It would make me very happy. Eli, the old priest, watched Hannah closely. She was certainly acting strange. She was kneeling with her hands folded tightly. Tears streamed down her face. Her lips moved, but no sound came out like this. Ellie thought she had been drinking wine. "What are you doing coming in here drunk?" he demanded. He was not happy with Hannah. Hannah was horrified. "I'm not drunk," she exclaimed. "I was just telling my problem to God." Ellie's frown disappeared. "In that case, be happy," he said. Ellie smiled. "May the God of Israel give you what you asked for." Hannah suddenly felt the sadness disappear. She became happy. The whole world seemed like a happier place. "Oh, thank you, she said to Ellie. Hannah walked back to Elkanah. She smiled at everybody she passed on the way. Hannah just knew God was going to answer her prayer. She believed God would give her a son. She was so happy. Okay, so in this story, we see Hannah. She was so sad. But because the man of God said, "May God grant you what you ask of him," she was happy. And that is our memory verse. May God grant you what you ask of him. I want to show you where it is. It's in the Bible. It's in 1 Samuel 1 verse 17. Here. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how we do our memory verse. We say, "May God grant you what you ask of him." May God grant you what we ask of him. Let's do it one last time. May God grant you what you ask of him. 1 Samuel 1 verse 17. And remember, we serve God when we help others. Let's say it again. We serve God when we help others. You see, like the man of God, he encouraged Hannah. He encouraged her by telling her that may God grant you what you ask of him. And when he said that, Hannah felt happy. Yes, Maita.
Granting means you're helping people and you're doing God's work.
Yes, when you're helping people, you are doing God's work. We serve God when we help others. Yes, Matiba.
When we help others,
that's a good thing when we help others. Yes, and we must always help others when we can help them. Okay, so that is our story for today. We are going to ask Matipa to close for us in prayer.
Connected to God and give us this daily bread and take this corner to God. Use the strength in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Matipa. I hope you enjoy your week, boys and girls. And remember, we serve God when we serve others.